If you don't figure out the difference between signal and noise in 2026, you're going to get left behind. I'm both sending this message to my future self to reflect on in 6 months' time, and I'm also speaking to the individual that's going through it right now and is unable to separate what all the distractions are in their life compared to what all the beautiful things are in their life they need to focus more and take more action on. I came across this concept not only a few months ago from watching a Diary of a CEO podcast with Kevin O'Leary. That guy's a bit of a prick, but he knows what he's talking about. And here are some pointers I reflected on given my current situation that I believe could be of big help to you right now. Yes, I'm speaking to you. The most important principle I've developed since living in a high hustle and bustle downtown city core where there's frickin' noise everywhere, nonstop, day or night, is that you need the ability to tune out all of the other distraction going on around you and just focus on the signal. Whether it's pressure washing going on the street, them installing or taking down Christmas decorations, homeless people yelling, screaming, and shouting at each other on the street, or fights breaking out right outside of your window. I don't care what the excuse is. You can have your thoughts, you can have your mental complaints, maybe even voice them sometimes. But when it comes to the work, you still get it done no matter what. Why? Because that's the difference maker between the person who wants it bad enough and the version of you that's willing to stay exactly the same without any change. Now, the second point I have here is really just to break down more of what noise is. And noise is essentially everything that deters you from your goals and pushes you further away from that version of you that I know you want to become. I think back to when I was even living in my parents' basement. Sure, I wasn't paying rent. Sure, I had all this extra time on my hands, but I wasn't very clear on where I wanted to go. That caused all my peers to excel ahead of me and make me feel like I've been left behind, when in reality, I never got clear on what I wanted to work towards, which would have been the first step, which meant the second step after that to be remove all the distractions and make it as simple as possible to achieve that goal. Instead, I just stayed bathing in the video games, the late nights, the junk food, nobody telling me what I had to or didn't have to do, and feeling like I was in control of my own life at 18, when in reality, I was on autopilot towards a path that a lot of people don't want to reach by the time they're 25 or 30, and some never even wake up from. The signal aspect of this is the key thoughts, the actions, and the tasks that are within your capability and reach to take on a daily action base to get closer to your goals. If you want to run a marathon, you better start training some cardio in the gym. If you just want to lose a bit of weight and feel better in your own skin, you better go to the gym, hit the incline treadmill, get your 10 to 15,000 steps in on a daily basis, and make sure you're installing this new committed level of discipline into your life to really achieve what you're telling everybody else you want to achieve. Because if you really wanted it that bad, you would have it already. The next best thing, starting today. If I wanted to lose weight, I'm also going to be a bit more aware of my diet. Have I been overeating? What are the quality of foods I have been ingesting? How is my body, my gut, my brain? How has it reacted to what I've been eating? Have I been doing everything possible to contribute to the best shape of my life? And if that answer is no, then it's pretty tried and true clear into where you might have gone wrong along this path and why you haven't already seen that progress that I know deep down you wish you would have achieved by now. For me, the biggest issues were, in fact, that looking in the mirror and not being proud of the man staring back at me, playing the video games and looking at my dressing room mirror and that version of me staring back at me saying, man, 5 years from now, I don't want you to be making this same look. I want you to be so proud of who you're looking at. I wasn't excited to wake up and get started on every day because I had no clear path of where I wanted to reach. Sure, some people just brush it off as that's part of the experience as an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, hell, even a 16-year-old. But you're seeing it in real time nowadays with social media when you have these younger kids that are taking action and grabbing life by the neck and just going for it and not willing to let life play them, but instead they're ready to play the video game, which is life, they're achieving things at an incredibly high rate of velocity compared to, what my generation has done, let alone my parents, let alone the grandparents, who are a completely different story. So the best time is now for so many different reasons. Even if you feel like what you're trying to get into and what you aspire to do is oversaturated, just start. Even if you feel like there's so much competition and how is your voice going to be heard, just start. Even if it means you've got to cut off your friends, you have to cut out your partner that's draining your time, and you need to go ghost mode for a couple months and just focus on self-love first. You do what it has to take to get there. I know it's going to be hard because it was difficult for me. And the last 2.5, 3 years have been so life-changing for me in some incredibly beautiful ways, but in also some extremely difficult ways. If you haven't seen any other video of mine, I'll just let you know here and now that my dad passed away in 2024 in July. And next thing you know, what are we at? Over a year and a half later, and there's still levels to that wound that still feel painful to me. But you know what's larger than it used to be before? The ability for me to comprehend how much of a blessing in one way or another this was, that I can help somebody else who's going through it. You see what I mean? At one point, you're stuck in all this freaking noise. You don't know where the pain's coming from, why you feel this way, why people treat you this way, why they look at you this way. Next thing you know, you flip the switch and you focus on the signal. You speak to the right people. You're more aware of what you're listening to and processing. Next thing you know, the signal becomes clear. This is where I'm heading towards. End of the tangent, on to the next step. I simply wasn't aware of the fact that when I was younger, I didn't consider these things. And if I would have heard it back then, it wouldn't have registered with me. Because at that point in my life, I was so distracted, I didn't care about what my goals were going to look like. But if I would have just had that helping hand, that big brother, that piece of advice from a family member or relative, just saying, hey, I know you're struggling with this right now, but pick your chin up, keep pushing towards what you care about, and you'll find something you're truly passionate for and you can do for the rest of your life. And those words came in bits and pieces from different people, but that full sentence, nobody ever said it to me. So if you're hearing it for the first time, just let it be known. If you believe it to be true, you can make it happen, and people will realize your energy shifting in real time. The environment changes everything. Like I said, to go from the parents' basement at 21 to living downtown across the world in New Zealand, it's a blessing, don't get me wrong. And I've had to pull a lot of strings to make this happen, but I wouldn't want my life to be going any other way in such a beautiful fashion with the best people surrounding me. That's just who I am and what I stand for. That's now my boundary. If people are below that standard, they don't come into my life. If they excel that standard, whoa, I want to get to know you. I have so much to learn from you. A constant student. And that environment shifting is such a big aspect of why I can even allow myself to think that way mentally, as you can too. Trust me, guys and girls, it's not rocket science, but it takes a lot of persistence and a serious amount of consistency. And then beautiful things start to unfold right in front of your eyes. Think of it like all these little bumps and hills in your life where, things are going well and then they go really good and then they flatline again and plateau. And then you start to pick up speed, a bit more momentum, hill, peak again. Another flat line. One more time, you're riding the wave, and another peak, flat line. Well, in reality, you've gone from down here all the way up to here in just 2.5 years' time, even though it still feels like you've been flatlining more than you've been achieving your goals and peaking. But in reality, that growth isn't always just linear. Sometimes it's those parabolic ticks up and a bit of plateau as you reach the next level. Keep going, next level. Keep going, next level. Next thing you know, you get there and it's beautiful, but it takes time. Have that patience. Allow it to develop. Next point here, some people won't get it, but that's okay. The big deal is that you stay aligned and keep going no matter what. Every single curveball that gets thrown at you is a lesson. Failure isn't real, it's a lesson. The best acronym I have for fear these days that I've heard from numerous people online is fear is false expectations appearing real. Damn. Think of how impactful that is. Every time I'm afraid of something, I think, man, what's the false expectations that's appearing real here? That it's scary, that people are going to judge me? You know? What is it? And then you just identify it, you extract it, remove it, and suddenly you're not scared anymore. And if that doesn't happen the first time, you build that muscle over time. And by the 10th time you give it a try, you're no longer afraid of it. It worked in my life. I know it can work for you. Last but not least, making this message to my future self. When they watch this, I know I'm going to be reflecting from a place of abundance, something beautiful I've accomplished over the next 180 days. And overall, looking back at so grateful on the steps I've taken to get there. Just as I have done from the past year's reflection and the previous year from that. Years 22, 23, 24, 25 of my life were so groundbreaking, and they went at that slower pace. And I wasn't where I wanted to be. But in reality, I made some insanely beautiful progress, which I'm so proud of. And when you're seeing this 6 months from now, 26-year-old version of Gareth, just know you got this. I believe in you. And when he's looking back at me, I know he's going to be welcoming me with that abundance, that beautiful life I've been dreaming of, the family I've always cared for, the people closest to me right by my side, and that beautiful freedom to bless people's lives on a daily basis and take them to help achieve their goals. If you're new here, my name is Gareth. I hope you found something that could resonate with you from this video and you've written down some notes. If not, just pause, rewind to your favorite parts and write it down to attach that mental to physical memory and ingrain it on the piece of paper. If something I spoke about reacted to you on a different kind of deeper level and you believe I would be beneficial working with you in this one-on-one setting to help rewire your identity and take you to the next step, just click the link below, book a call with me, and let's see if we're the right fit. All right, guys. Peace. I'll chat to you tomorrow.